This is your WCIA 3 forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Well, a rainy day across central Illinois. When it's not raining, it's overcast and it is cloudy. You can see here the spiraling nature of these bands of showers associated with a cutoff area of low pressure. And we're going to continue this same trend through tonight and into tomorrow morning. Temperatures, what a difference 24 hours can make. 55 in Champaign, 52 in Springfield right now. A big drop from yesterday when we were near 80 degrees. So, clouds. Stick around. Temperatures probably don't move a whole lot, and things clear out a little bit for Friday. But boy, we get soggy again on Saturday. We'll talk about chances for rain for the weekend when we come back. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
They're all moms of victims of gun violence. Why support wasn't the only reason they gathered. Plus, it's the only major city in central Illinois that doesn't allow marijuana sales. Will this week's election change that?
And the state seemed closer to reopening. What's changing the direction of the pandemic here in Illinois?
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 6.
My son was killed August the 15th, 2020. And I've been fighting and trying to do what I can ever since.
That includes gathering with other moms who lost their kids to gun violence. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jessica Coons in for Jennifer. The group met at Neal Street Blues in downtown Champaign today. WCIA 3's Abigail Metch is at that restaurant now. So Abigail, what did they talk about?
Jessica, the meeting really had two purposes. One, of course, was to offer each other support. The other was to brainstorm ways to get guns off the street.
All I know is that we can try to get everyone that we can that we found that has a gun and try to convince them to tell us where they're getting these guns from.
Yvonne Miller lost her son Christopher on August 15th, 2020.
I've experienced the loss of my child because of a gun.
The police found 40 shell casings at the scene of his murder, but only one person has been arrested. Now his mom is fighting for justice.
That we're going to put gun violence to rest.
She's doing this with the help of other moms. The group Why Me was started by Yvonne Johnson after she lost her son David in 2018.
David's such a blessing, and he's a blessing to this community because he knows his mom is going to fight and fight for other kids and moms like me.
They met at Neal Street Blues in Champaign Thursday, and they're partnering with other organizations. Maurice Hayes runs HV Neighborhood Transformation. He knows gun violence firsthand because he was the person pulling the trigger.
I myself was in prison for 17 and a half years for murder, and I never got a chance to look into the mother's eye of the young man whose life I was responsible for.
Now he says it's up to him to stop this from happening to anyone else.
I was responsible for taking someone's child away, someone's father, someone's brother. Like, that's not an easy thing to live with or deal with. So in my healing, right, and my healing for myself is to try to stop it.
Every summer, HV hosts 40 Days of Peace, where they provide kids with fun, safe activities to keep them out of trouble. And it's happening again this year. In Champaign, Abigail Metch, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Abigail, thank you. Another city is struggling with gun violence. Police in Springfield are trying some new tactics to stop it. They're calling it a violence reduction plan. Several officers have been reassigned to focus solely on shooting investigations. This is because of an increase in shots fired since last year. Police say it's not just victims' families who are affected by this violence.
But you really have to consider the impact on the community. When these incidents occur close to schools and schools go on lockdown, they present a risk to anyone in the area. And recently we have had schools and businesses go into lockdown when incidents have occurred in their area.
The department says other investigations might be delayed because officers are focused on shootings. Coming up later in the newscast, what the president plans to do about gun violence nationwide.
Here's an update now. A former youth pastor was sentenced to 15 years in prison for sexual assault. Roger Van Raden pleaded guilty to have raped a teenager who was a member of his congregation. She came forward about the relationship when she was 18 in 2019, but he was involved with the girl since she was 14. Van Raden will have to serve a minimum of 85% of his 15-year sentence. A man's been found guilty of sexually assaulting a child. Jarquez Hobbs sexually assaulted a 5-year-old in 2019 after breaking into her home. He was convicted of predatory criminal sexual assault and home invasion. He'll be sentenced next month.
Decatur is the last major city in central Illinois to hold out on allowing marijuana sales. City Council chose to not allow a dispensary, and the results of Tuesday's election show that decision might not be changing soon. WCIA 3's Cole Henke has more.
4 city council candidates in Decatur were pro-marijuana. Only one, incumbent David Horn, won his race. Horn was already outvoted before on allowing pot sales in the city, but he doesn't think his fight's over.
And whatever negative consequences are to legal cannabis sales, we miss out on the positive revenue, but still have the negative consequences.
Decatur is the only major city in central Illinois that still does not allow the legal sale of recreational marijuana. And Mayor Julie Moore-Wolf says that she doesn't believe it should change anytime soon.
I'm not in favor of having a dispensary in Decatur. I'd like to see more, and I don't really think the last year is a good indication because COVID was a really different year for everything and everybody. So I don't think that's a fair assessment.
Both Horn and Moore-Wolf both don't think the election can be taken as a perfect referendum on marijuana, but they disagree on if the council should take a public vote on the next ballot.
I don't really think that non-binding referendums accomplish what you hope to accomplish. It's been not so good here.
I am ready to vote for a cannabis dispensary, and I'm ready to vote for other cannabis-related businesses such as cultivation centers and processors anytime.
Reporting in Decatur, I'm Cole Henke, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
If the council does put the question on a ballot, it would be that non-binding referendum, and council would not have to follow the public's choice. Leaders in Champaign are addressing concerns about some prescribed burns. The city got a permit to have 2 of them. They were at the Glen Park and 2nd Street detention basins. Prescribed burns help regenerate native plants, and leftover ash is good for the soil, but there's been backlash on social media about the way the burns affected animals in those areas. Public Works says the animals they saw were moved to safety, and they say there was no intentional burning of nests or eggs.
We wanted to let people know that it was indeed a prescribed burn and that it was not, in fact, done. I don't know if someone thought it was done maliciously or if someone thought it was arson or something like that. So we wanted to address that. Yes, we are aware of it.
Property owners in the area were notified the burn would happen, and the city says they had staff on site until late yesterday evening to prevent any unwanted spread of fire.
Another Illini declared for the NBA draft. Why it might not be the player you're thinking of.
Also tonight.
I'm told that we're on track to break a statewide single-day vaccination record.
But it's not all good news. The downside to the state's COVID numbers.
And Kevin, your forecast is not all good news either.
Not. It's bad news. Let's just put it that way. We had a lot of good news there lately, but yeah, the clouds moved in, now the cooler temperatures are here, and we're talking about additional rain as we head into the weekend. Look at all the clouds. That's a Flooring America Weather INET Gibson Area Hospital time lapse in Gibson City. As you can see, all those clouds off and on, some rain around this morning. High temperatures today, quite a bit different than what we had yesterday with readings that, made it there into the 60s, but that's kind of a deceiving high temperatures. That occurred pretty early this morning. We're talking more rain in the forecast for the weekend and cooler temperatures. We'll share it with you coming up.